Is almal hier? In jou hart dat die Here vir jou troos gee vandag, dat jy net daar sit in stilte en jou gebed na die Here toe bring vanoggend. Kom ons gee 'n paar oomblikke vir dit. Ek kyk op na die berge, waarvandaan sal my hulp kom. My hulp kom van die Here, wat die hemel en die aarde geskaap het. Liewe gemeente, die Here is by julle en hy gee aan julle sy vrede. Kom ons staan en dan sing ons die eerste lied in julle blaadjies. Dit is nie die eerste lied nie, dit is die tweede ene, O Heer my God. En julle sal sien dat daar is Engels en Afrikaans en julle kan sing wat julle ook al wil. Let's stand and we'll sing How Great Thou Art. Ek wil graag vra dat Jax, as ek dit nie mis het nie, as jy die oudste seun, dat jy so lank vorentoe sal kom en dat jy ook die stuk wat jy voorberei het met ons sal deel. Van die gemeente se kant af ook baie liefde vir julle as gesin, Koos vir jou en dan uit die aard van die saak julle 3 kinders met julle gesinne ook. Baie dankie Jax, as jy vir ons kan voorstaan.
My ma Everyone thinks their mother is the best, but in my case, it clearly must be very true, as I cannot think of one little thing that wasn't good about my ma. Ma het altyd die huis vrolik gemaak. She always sang while she did the housework. Sy het opera liedjies uit haar hart uit gesing en altyd amper die stofsuier oordonder. Sy het my liefde vir musiek begin en het altyd aangemoedig. Wie anders sou my toegelaat het om my drum solos op haar sitbank arms te oefen? I have hundreds of wonderful memories of which are important to me. And I'm sure each of you sitting here today can picture something in their mind when you think of Gerrie, my mom. Because in her own special way, she made impact on the lives of everyone she met. My kosbare oomblikke was ons toesem chats oor die kombuistafel in die oggend en natuurlik een van my ma se grootste gesegdes. Elke keer wanneer ek 'n koppie koffie maak, hoor ek my ma in my kop. Jy kan nie 'n kaal koppie koffie drink nie. Nou vir die wat my ken, weet ek drink baie koffie, so my ma praat baie met my. Dankie ma, nou kan ek altyd koekies en 'n sjokolaatjie saam met jou geniet. Ma het ons altyd belangrik laat voel en ons altyd ondersteun. She was the backbone of our family. We loved her dearly, and a sense of her will always be interwoven in the blanket of our life. To me, to the world, you were a mother. To me, you were the world. Thank you.
Dankie, Jax. I am going to do the sermon in English, and you have given me a wonderful segue to start what I have prepared to speak to you about. So, in my life, I obviously read the Bible a lot, but there's one other book that I often read, and it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I discovered it very late in my life, but it has meant a lot to me. And so in the first chapter of this book, Stephen Covey says that if you want to think about your life and what you want to do with your life, you must start with the end in mind. So it makes you think, what do you want people to say about your life at the end of your life? What would you want people to testify about what they've witnessed in your life? And so I thought about that this past week. I was wondering, what would Gerrie have wanted us to say about her life? What would she have wanted us to see and witness in her life? So as a pastor, it's always one of the privileges to hear these witnesses about a person from the people that knew her the best. And what you guys said to me about Gerrie, your wife, your mother, I think she would, that's what she would have wanted you guys to remember. So the Bible gives us some images of what a life lived well looks like. And one of those strong images came to mind in Erica's mind when she said, what I think sums my mother's life up is Proverbs 31. And so I'm going to read this one image with you, and I want to invite you to just remember how you saw this play out in Gerrie's life. So I'm reading Proverbs 31 from verse 10. A good woman is hard to find and worth far more than diamonds. Her husband trusts her without reserve and never has reason to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life long. She shops around for the best yams and cottons and enjoys knitting and sewing. She's like a trading ship that sails to faraway places and brings back exotic surprises. She's up before dawn preparing breakfast or coffee for her family and organizing her day. She looks over a field and buys it. Then, with money she puts aside, plants a garden. First thing in the morning, she dresses for work, rolls up her sleeves, eager to get started. She senses the worth of her work, is in no hurry to call it quits for the day. She's skilled in the crafts of home and heart, diligent in homemaking. She's quick to assist anyone in need, reaches out to help the poor. She doesn't worry about her family when it snows. There's winter clothes. It's all mended and ready to wear. She makes her own clothing and dresses in colorful linens and silks. Her husband is greatly respected when he deliberates with the city fathers. She designs gowns and sells them, brings the sweaters she knits to the dress shops. Her clothes are well made and elegant, and she's always ready for tomorrow with a smile. When she speaks, she has something worthwhile to say, and she's always kind. She keeps an eye on everyone in her household and keeps them all busy and productive. Her children respect and bless her. Her husband joins in with words of praise. Many women have done wonderful things, but you've outclassed them all. Charm can mislead and beauty soon fades. The woman to be admired and praised is the woman who lives in the fear of God, gives her everything she deserves. Adorn her life with praises. So this was read out of the Message Bible. And so what a wonderful image of a life lived well. Many of us hear this and we immediately feel inadequate. But what's summed up here is someone who lives wisely, who uses what they've got to be a blessing to others. It is someone who is connected with the people, and the testimony is that that connection is a healthy, loving connection. And so that was the one image of a life lived well that was immediately put on the table when we talked about Gerrie. There are some other images that I thought about. The next one is my favorite image. It's Paul's image. And he talks about it in Philippians and also in Timothy. I had to think about what the English word for the book is. Anyway, Timothy. And Paul says, when he speaks about his own life, he says his life is a drink offering poured out to others. And so this is also a beautiful image, if you think about a life worth living, that your life serves to refresh other people. Unfortunately, this glass is a bit small, but what I wanted to say about that image is he speaks that every last drop is poured out. And so there are people that lives all the life in them, finish and klaar. They don't keep a little bit for themselves. They give all the life that they have. And so what a beautiful other image that we can take about what a life lived well looks like in the Bible. So the next image is that of a tree. And so we all learn in Sunday school classes that if you love God, like it's spoken of here in Proverbs 31, that other people see there's something different in your life. And so the image that's given in Corinthians is the image of a tree. And I love this image because a tree does, it gives rootedness. It speaks of someone who is firm in knowing where they belong. It's not only a sense of security in itself, but it provides a sense of security to other people. Whenever people get around outside, they look for the best tree with the most shade. And so another image that the Lord gives us about if you want to strive for something, if you really want to make the most of life in such a way that at the end of your life people celebrate you, it says make sure that you are this tree that provides shade for other people. Live a life that's very deeply rooted in what matters. And this kind of tree gives beautiful fruit. The kind of fruit that the Bible talks about: love, joy, not happiness, joy. And so it's my firm conviction that the reason why we can end Gerrie's life in a worship service is because all of these images we have seen and we have witnessed in her life. So these metaphors emphasizes to us when we think about our own lives and our own legacy and the legacy that we've received from Gerrie, it reminds us to think about what it is that other people see in us, to think about what people talk about when they talk about our lives. And it focuses our conversations today to say today is a celebration of a life lived well. And so when we gather today is all about stories of the love that we shared. Today is all about stories of the joy that we remember around the kitchen table. Today is the day when we talk about the excellence that we saw in this woman. The fact that as a husband still today, at the end of Gerrie's life, you can still be proud. These are the contents that we are given to celebrate. There's one more image. It's more than just an image. When Jesus is confronted by very smart people, they ask him, what's the gist of faith? What is religion all about? What is a life that wants to live for God? What is that all about? And then he says, the most important thing the thing that we should not miss, the thing that we should be excellent in, is loving God and others as we love ourselves. So, if you wonder what I should spend my thoughts and my memories and my talkings about when I talk about my mother, my family member, what really matters is the love. The love, not her CV, not her accomplishments, not only the excellence, all encompassing of all of that is love. It's difficult to be excellent in something if you don't have love for life. And it's difficult to flourish if you don't have that love for God. And that always flows over to love of your neighbor, your family, others, and yourself. The greatest thing one can ever learn is to love and be loved in return. And so when you close your eyes and you feel sad and you are in grief and you feel alone and you wish you could have spent one moment more with Gerrie. 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is not only the most important of all. 1 Corinthians 13 says this, love bears all things. It believes all things. It hopes all things. It endures all things. But this is what I want you to remember when you're in the pit of grief and sadness. Love never ends. It never ends. And so the love that you've shared and the love that you've received, it will never end. And as Christians, we believe that we partake in the crucifixion and the resurrection of Christ. And we believe in life everlasting. And so even though we are here in our brokenness, the hope that we have is that this love is so powerful that it transcends death itself. Dear congregation, it is my prayer that you will remember what is the most important thing. It is God that gives us life, and therefore life is holy. So one of the Hebrew words that describes this holiness is gabot, and it means weightiness. So our lives have weight. And so we spend today, we take a moment to remember life, Gerrie's life, the wonderful attributes and the love we shared. We take this moment because her life weighed so much. Please take all the time you need to hold that weight, to thank God for a weighty life. But please also remember the weightiness, the importance of your own life. And the blessing, the contribution that Gerrie made into your life, making your life so much more weighty than it was before knowing her. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, that you became a human for us, that you have shown us in your life here on earth what a life worth living looks like. Literally pouring your life out for us. Father God, we are not only witnesses to your life, we are partakers in your life. We live the same rhythm as you. Thank you that we can celebrate our Christian sister's life in that pattern, in the Jesus pattern, that she poured her life out for us. Thank you that at the end of her life we can hold on to the hope that love, your love, the power of the resurrection love, transcends our sorrow, our grief, it transcends death. We pray, God, that for this family, when they feel alone and lost and overcome by grief, that your love will have healing power. Amen. We are continuing to listen to the witnesses of Gerrie's life, and I want to invite Erika to come and do the next section for us.
To read this. When I walked in here on Wednesday, when we were here to finalize, do the final arrangements, I was overwhelmed with emotions. We grew up in this church. Looking over all these people, I'm going to cry some more. I grew up in this church. We always sat in the same side. Altyd daar gesit. It was net my ma and ons 3 kinders, because my dad was a deacon. So he sat somewhere when there were still deacon benches. We knew who would be late. We knew who would be early. We knew who was sick because they were not in the seats. So we grew up in this church. We knew all the windows. We counted all the bricks. Well, I did. I don't know what the 3 of you did, other 2 did. We grew up in this church. Auntie Mickey got married here. We were Christian here. We did our belydenis van geloof here. So this was our church. And all the memories that came, that was 20 years plus of memories that flooded over me the moment I walked in here. Now, what memories you all have? I'm sure you all have memories of my mom as well. My mom was with us. Every memory that I have here, my mom was with us. And so I'm sure you all have memories of her. It was just 20 years of memories. And I know some people knew her 88 years. Some people knew her 60 years. Some people of you sitting here didn't even know my mom. And you are still here. It just goes how wide the roots and of the tree that my mom, the branches that she spread out, how wide that was and how wide it covered. So thank you for making your time for coming here. Thank you for being here. There's a few people who wanted to be here, but they couldn't. But they sent us beautiful voice notes. So Kobus there at the top, his name's also Kobus. I think there's just too many Kobuses in my life. Kobus, will you play the voice notes, please?
Seriously. Dear Uncle Oom and family, our deepest condolences on your loss. Although we are sad, we are also thankful for all the experiences and memories we had as a family with Tannie Gerrie. Rus in vrede, baie liefde, Ethan.
We can't see the names on there. Sorry, Kobus.
My liefste Tannie, jy was altyd 'n bok vir sports en het gewys om met oom te trou. Seriously though, you will be missed as a wife, mother, grandmother. Dear Uncle Oom and family, our deepest condolences on your loss. Although we are sad, we are also thankful for all the experiences and memories we had as a family with Tannie Gerrie. Rus in vrede, baie liefde, Ethan.
Thank you for all the hugs, laughs, cuddles, and sharing your birthday with me. I will always have an extra candle on my birthday cake just for you. Ek gaan Tannie baie mis. Lots of love, Emily.
Oom Koos en familie, dankie dat julle mamma vrou met almal gedeel het. Elkeen van ons het unieke paadjies saam met haar geloop. Van Kersfees, braais, Saterdag aande se Andre Roux, ons soettanne, partytjies, ons blou bubblegum cocktails, van haarsnysessies tot 'n geen kaal koppie koffie, en dan die spesiale ervarings, toe Tannie my trourok gemaak het, my dogtertjie dieselfde verjaarsdag as Tannie kon vier, tot die eerste keer wat Tannie haar vasgehou het en onmiddellik vir haar gesing het, en vandag sing sy vir Tannie.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Tannie se glimlag en stem sal altyd by ons bly. Rus saggies by ons Hemelse Vader. Lief Tannie baie.
My liefste Tannie, jy was altyd 'n bok vir spots en het gewys om met oom te trou. Seriously though, you will be missed as a wife, mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, and my godmother, and have touched all of our lives in a unique way. You always says it doesn't matter what the meal looks like, because it's dark when it goes. Now you are spreading your light where there is darkness. Go well, Tannie, and God bless you all.
Oma, words cannot express what you mean to Ashley and I.
Oma showed us that English and Afrikaans are just languages.
And love from an Oma can truly speak volumes.
Oma would always listen to our stories and she'd be laughing along with us.
Oma taught us how to bake. We'd be sent home with buckies full of homemade biscuits, which we reluctantly shared.
A smile from Oma made everything feel like it was going to be okay.
We felt such joy when Oma would give us a stewige drukkie.
We are so grateful that Jax is our dad.
And that meant that you could be our Oma. Oma, ons is baie lief vir jou. Ons gaan Oma so baie mis.
I know I've had an amazing mom, but it's extra special to hear it from other people. My ma was 'n merkwaardige vrou. Daar's van julle wat gedeelde lewens en gedeelde geskiedenis met haar het. So julle sal verstaan as ek sê my ma was amazing. Sy is gebore 26 Oktober 1934 in Nederland. It was when Europe was preparing for war, so her dad decided that work was very scarce and he came to South Africa. And once he was settled, he sent her a WhatsApp and said, "Come down, I'll send you a pin drop, then you just come and fetch." So, unfortunately, I don't know how it worked. I mean, they must have sent a letter to say, "I've got the house," and then 6 weeks later, it's back, and then she's on her way, and then hopefully she's on the boat. So I don't know how that worked, but they found each other, and they lived in Westdene. My mom was one of 8 kids, and they lived in Westdene, and she went to school just around the corner. Few blocks from her, I think it was Westdene Primary or something, I'm not exactly sure. And then she went to Vorentoe Hoërskool. In those days it was Rossmore High or Rossmore Hoërskool. After school, she was such an independent woman. She did all types of courses. She did blommerangskikking and, with a little fine art, not the stuff that we just snack down, the little fine art, blommerangskikking. She did crocheting, she did pattern making. So she was very independent. She traveled to Amsterdam or Europe for 2 years. She worked there. She stayed there, traveled the whole of Europe. When Kwesi and Michelle came back from their trips, she can remember everything because she was there. She did it all. She met my dad while they were working at the Johannesburg Town Council. And die stadsaal, die groot stadsaal, and they all worked at the town, the city hall in Joburg. And they dated for 3 years. And then when my dad wanted to ask her to marry, she said, "I'm not going to marry if you have debt. So you have to pay off all your debt." My dad had Markham's accounts, as you can see. He had a Markham account which he had to pay off. After the wedding ceremony, that was 58 years ago, they went to have their honeymoon in Amanzindoti. And just to go to show that not everybody had cars 58 years ago, they went by train to honeymoon. It was just the way it was done. So once they came back from honeymoon, they stayed with my... okay, so I just want to say, you don't screw up a good story with facts. So if I got the facts wrong, I'm sorry, okay? They moved in with my dad's parents, my oma and opa. They stayed there for a while, and after that they moved into my grand's house, my mother's mother. She went to the Netherlands for 6 months at a time to go. When she traveled, she's not going to go all that way for nothing. So then she stayed for 6 months, and then my dad and mom stayed in that house. And then my mom said, well, I'm moving into my own house. So they bought a plot in Blairgowrie. There was nothing here. It was all empty. And after that, my mom said, no, this plot house building thing is not going to work for her. So she bought a house which was window height. And they stayed there for 58 years. They sold the house in January this year. So as you can say, the story ended there. I'm sure in fairy tales you can say, and they lived happily ever after. But there were tough times, and there were happy times, and then you're getting old and you have to put your glasses on. There were tough times and there were happy times. There was time filled with stress, but there were time filled with love. Kosi was born, and 4 years later I came, and then die glipsie. I think the youngest is always by accident, so he's die glipsie. Not shame. Oh, come on, guys, don't shame 20. I cannot remember, and I think this is what Kosi also said, I cannot remember once my mom telling us we cannot do anything. She supported us in whatever we wanted to do. She might not have agreed what we wanted to do, like playing drums, but she still supported us. My mom loved routine. Monday, maandag is wasdag. Dinsdag is strijkdag. Can't remember what she did on Wednesday, but Thursday she baked, because the weekend's coming, so you have to bake whatever is needed. And Friday was shopping, the weekly going to Pick and Pay. Saturdays we sewed, we did work in the garden, so she read. And Sundays was coming to church. And she had this saying, and I'm sure you know the saying where it says, Sondag steek hou geen week. So whatever you do it on a Sunday, it doesn't last a week. So you don't do any sewing or anything. My Sundays are for rest days. So as I already said, my mom did a lot of needlework. She was the perfect housewife. I think it skipped a generation because I don't know where that came from. I definitely skipped the generation. But she was also one with strict rules and boundaries. Also, boundaries skipped a generation. Okay, so need to laugh so hard, you guys. Okay. My mom believed in no debt. She didn't like wasting. Definitely, she hated greediness. She said, "Môre is nog 'n dag." So why must you eat all the biscuits today? Then there's some for tomorrow. So môre is nog 'n dag. She believed in opgeruimd staat netjies. If your house is tidy, then it's netjies. She wasn't one for being lazy. So she said, "Gaan na die muur, julle lei hard." So we heard that a lot. Actually, Tony heard that the most. We believed in eet wat die pot skaf. Means you had to eat what's on your plate. No fussiness. My dad only started becoming fussy when he started moving in with me. Before that, he had to eat what was on his plate. But now, he's fussy. She believed in vanself gekom, vanself gegaan. Nothing that a discipline couldn't fix. I think the discipline kept my mom alive for 88 years. So if you want to know how to live a long life, just take a discipline. But she also believed in teaching us, "Bugger you, Joe, I'm okay." She hated it if you don't look out for the other person as well, where you just say, "I'm okay, don't worry about the rest." She hated that. She wanted us to look out for other people as well. But as in life, If people know where they stand with you, they love you even more. And oh, my mom was loved. This is what the youngest 3 grandkids had to say. So I'm going to read it, and I don't know if I'm going to get through it, but okay. Morgan. Whew, okay. God looked around his garden and found an empty space. He looked down upon this earth and saw your tired face. He's put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He only takes the best. Love, Morgan. I'm not so organized as Kosi. Benjamin, this is your message for Oma. Oma, the one who everyone loved. She was a strong and loving fighter who made everyone smile when we saw her. She will always have a place in my heart, in all our hearts. May her blessed soul rest in peace. Love, Benjamin. Thanks, boy. And then Matthew. Oma was so kind. She always saw the good in people, and she always knew when someone needed help. I will miss her so much. Love, Matthew. I want to thank all of you for your support during the time my mom was sick. Daily messages, phone calls, WhatsApps, visits, hugs, multiple prayers. Oh, how we needed those prayers. When I told my friends it's like a tsunami hitting me, it's a tidal wave just coming and coming and coming, because at one stage it feels like we were drowning. They didn't come up with solutions because there wasn't any solutions. They all said, ons bid vir jou en vir julle. And that's all we needed. Knowing that we have all of your support during this time and that people were praying for you helped us a lot. Thanks for loving my mother, my dad's wife, your aunt, your tannie Gerrie, your grandmother. She deserved the love, and we were all blessed to have her in our lives. Dankie Yolandi, dankie Suzette, dankie Kobus en die ander klankmense daar agter. Dankie Alfred, dankie Rampersuid. Dankie papa, dat jy vir mamma gevra het om te trou. Dankie dat papa lief was vir haar. Dankie my pa vir die lewe wat julle twee saam gebou het. Dankie vir al die drukkies wat papa vir haar gegee het. Dankie my liewe Moeksie Poeksie. Ons is baie lief vir mamma vir altyd. Beloof, beloof.
Kom ons staan en ons loof die Here vir hierdie wonderlike lewe wat hy ook met ons gedeel het. Dankie. Ons gaan nou Psalm 100 sing. In die blaadjie, die eerste lied. Let's stand and we're singing Psalm 100. Staan net so en ontvang die seën van die Here. Die Here sal julle seën en julle beskerm. Die Here sal tot julle redding verskyn en aan julle genadig wees. Die Here sal julle gebede verhoor en aan julle sy vrede gee. Amen. Ons nooi julle om net hierdeur by die tuin op die stoep saam met die familie verversings te kom geniet. Baie dankie.